You're in tune to Out of Lives. www.outoflives.net.
Can't handle the truth.
Hi everybody and welcome to this special episode of the Out of Lives podcast, because it's time for another Duckhunters Q+A, and I'm joined by IGN's own man, Gav Murphy. How you doing?
Hello.
You alright?
Yeah, doing really well, man.
I don't know why I needed to point out that you're a man, in case that was in any doubt, but...
Yeah, I think you can probably guess by, even if you've never seen my face, just from how deep my voice is, that
I
this is
don't know,
definitely a man talking.
I've been with some girls and their voices are that deep.
And also, like, people like my mum's got a beard, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we are then, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Also, that other voice you can hear is Dave Wyatt, who's jumped in to come on the ride. So let's get things started with some questions, I think.
Okay.
And I'm going to read these down from the Duckhunters Facebook group. And let's ask, what is your weirdest moment from the Nintendo magazine days? And that's from Chris Goodwin.
Weirdest moment. I was trying to think. I think it was like my second. Weirdest moment definitely is like getting the job. I didn't expect to get the job, and I lied and said that I could use Final Cut Pro. And I didn't know how to use that. Like I'd edited stuff. I knew how to use it. I think I'd used Final Cut Pro once at uni, and then I'd been using Avid for like 3 years. So, but then in the interview, they were like, "Oh, can you use Final Cut Pro?" So yeah, wicked. Just can't put it down. It's my favorite program. And yeah, I didn't know how to do it. So like, and on the first day, they were literally like, because I was making like a weekly TV, like a show that went on the Wii, and they were like, "Oh, now you've got to edit this," and I was like, "Okay, I'm out of my depth here massively." That was pretty weird. But I think like, I don't know. Other than, I think there's more questions later on about Matthew Castle. So he is the weirdest man ever. But non-Castle thing is probably just any time that I had to do anything with Charles Martinet, who's the voice of Mario. He's like the nicest guy. But also, it's just really strange, like to see him, like especially to see him like at the end of an E3. Like I had to meet him for an interview or like a messing around interview right at the end of an E3 one year, and he was just sort of like just sitting underneath the stairs with no voice left, because obviously people had just been asking him to do Mario for like 3 days straight.
Oh dear.
And yeah, it was quite a sad little sight, but he's a very nice guy, so it's fine.
Oh, bless him.
There's an alarm going off outside my house, so if you can see that, I'm alright. In case anyone was worried. I'm sure nobody was, but just in case.
Well, okay, next question. Biggest fears for episode 7. Now, they've not said episode 7 of what? I'm going to assume they mean EastEnders.
Well, yeah, I mean, Danny Dyer's done really good work this year on EastEnders.
Yeah, actually has, though. You might be joking, but he really has.
I'm absolutely not joking, no. He's brilliant.
He is. He's so good.
I actually probably love Danny Dyer, but I can't bring myself to watch EastEnders, so I get my niece to just update me, because she loves EastEnders. So anytime something good happens on EastEnders, she'll be like, "Oh, it's a really good Danny episode today." So I'll be like, "Okay, I'll watch that then." But I'm assuming they're talking about Force Awakens.
Oh yeah, that would make more sense.
I was talking to somebody on Friday about it, and I think my biggest fear is that I'm absolutely not prepared for it to be anything other than properly amazing. So, and like obviously, like me and Krupa do a weekly Star Wars show, called Rebel Base, and like I saw a really good article on like Yahoo Movies the other day, which was like, this right now is the best time to be a Star Wars fan, because even though the film is probably going to be really good, and I think even if it's shit, it's going to be good shit. Does that make sense? Like, it can't be as bad. It can't be as bad as Phantom Menace, basically.
No, definitely not.
But that's the thing, we have to do a weekly Star Wars show. Like, if one of us likes it, if one of us likes it and one of us doesn't like it, that'd actually be a pretty good sort of source of confrontation all the way throughout the year, I guess. But this, I don't know. I'm just afraid that I haven't tempered my expectations at all for it to be anything other than just the best film.
And I suppose doing Rebel Base, you are in a position where you know everything about this movie. because you've got to research things and every week for going on Rebel Base, and
Yeah.
so you're in a position where you've hyped yourself essentially for it.
Yeah, like this is the thing, like, because like Alex, like Simmons, he hasn't watched. I think he's only watched one trailer or two trailers, and then he hasn't watched anything else. Like I don't think Tilly's watched many of the TV spots or anything like that. But we've just got to watch everything because it could be something really interesting that we make a show out of or something, So yeah, and I kind of whip. I know I'm massively. I can start to feel people start like get fatigued with it. Just people in general sort of get a bit annoyed. But you get that when people are talking about something all the time, people are going to start getting a little bit annoyed by it. But I mean, it's Star Wars, isn't it, man?
It's everywhere at the minute, though. I was in the shop earlier and they've got Star Wars oranges. Like
what?
Yeah, there's oranges with a Star Wars banner around it with BB-8 on it.
Brilliant.
What's that about? Who's that for?
Kids Street there. I actually don't think that's the worst thing I've ever seen. I think I saw a cereal box the other day. It didn't even say Star Wars on it. It was just cereal. Like, it didn't even say, like, Star Wars O's. Like, they're not even trying. Like, it's just like, this is a cereal. It's Star Wars. It's got Darth Vader on the box. You need to buy it. Like, I don't know.
Well, my 5-year-old loves Star Wars. He's never sat down and watched the whole movie. Any of them.
Yeah, I could see that if you're
But if that makes sense, he loves all the toys.
Yeah.
He was playing Battlefront. He's a whiz at Battlefront, actually. But, like, it's funny, but, they brought this all onto a new generation again. And the timing of it seems quite good. That he doesn't have the attention span yet to sit and watch down the full Star Wars movies. He'll watch small bits of it. But I don't know. I just can't see it this being anything but bad, and I know I'm hopefully never going to eat those words, but...
Well, you think it's going to be bad?
No, I don't think it's going to be bad. I can't see it. I suppose I worded that wrong. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that video that was around about a week ago of everyone coming out of this premiere.
Yeah.
I think it'll be exactly the same with this regardless. I think even if it is crap, everyone's still going to be coming out going, "Oh, how amazing was that?" It won't be until 2-3 weeks later we all start thinking about whether or not it was. But I'm pretty hopeful.
That was like the thing that we talked about, because we've been talking about, like, what we do this week after seeing it, like when, what videos and stuff should we be doing, like, because I don't, like, there was talk of doing like a video as soon as we came out of the cinema, but I was like, I didn't want to do that, and like Krupa didn't really want to do that because you're probably gonna be really excited coming out, and you're not gonna be able to gather your thoughts right. Like, I hate it when you come out of the cinema and someone, like, your mate straight away is like, "What'd you think?" You're like, well, I don't know what I think yet. Like, I'm still sort of processing it and thinking about it. I don't know. And like, when I came out with Dark Knight Rises, like, I was so disappointed with that because I'd hyped myself up so much that when I sort of sat there, I think like in the UK we had a press screening. We were like one of the first people, like, outside of the people who worked on the film to see it. So I was like, my heart was like racing. I sat down and it just didn't live up to expectations at all. So, and with Star Wars, I've done even worse with that. So I might even come out and not like it, and then, later on find out, realize I actually did like it because I've calmed myself down because I'm an idiot. Yeah.
What is it difficult to work in an office where there's an office romance going on, referring exactly between Luke and Rory?
I think the romance is kind of like one-sided. It's more from Luke, to be honest. Like, I don't think that romance is reciprocated from Rory's side.
No.
And I'm actually, when we change offices, which tomorrow, so Monday is going to be my first day in the new office. I'm actually sitting next to Rory. So maybe there'll be a new office romance. Who knows?
Gavin Rory, I'd watch that.
Yeah. Poor Rory. He's like he could do a lot better. Let's be honest.
But he doesn't know that.
That's true, actually. Yeah, when you get them young, then they don't really know what he's at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you find that people often think you're a knob?
Yes, all the time, particularly on the Duckhunters group. So, I guess this is like referring to some post some guy who I don't know his name did like last week. Like, I was out on the piss and then got a text from Krupa that was like, "Oh man, it's like funny," because like now and again we'll text about stuff that's happened in the group and be like, "Man, it's kicking off on the Duckhunters group," which is a really funny text to get anyway.
Yeah.
But the time that I was home for my night out, and I was just too pissed to be able to use my phone. So I was like, oh, I can't really see what I'm doing. And then the next day it'd gone. I think someone deleted it.
Yeah, it was me.
Right. So, yeah, I don't really know what was going on. But yeah, I mean,
to clarify, someone had an opinion that they didn't particularly like you, and we're not really into censorship in the group as anyone is. But you did have a lot of people within that post coming to defend you and say that you're one of the reasons why they listen to the podcast.
That's really nice.
Really some nice positive things. I wish I'd screenshotted some of the really nice positive things I had to say. So
there wasn't massive amounts of negativity. It was just more about how opinionated you was, which I think's a silly reason to say that you don't like someone.
Yeah,
because they've got opinions that don't agree with yours.
Yeah, to be honest, it's going to happen, I guess. Like, I am really strongly opinionated, and I'm quite, hard at getting those opinions across. So I could probably see how some people wouldn't like that, and I guess people can have their own opinions about things. That's why we live in a lovely world, so it's fine. I think as long as you're not, being super mean to anyone, then probably doing right. And I do it all the time. If I think something shit, I can't hide how I feel. So
yeah. Well, we've heard some of that in IGN UK podcast anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, the post ended up deleted, just to explain for those in the group that wanted the reason why, because there was a lot of follow-on posts talking about other people that were meant as a joke that took it a bit too seriously. So delete the source and it stops all the problems. That's my idea anyway. So
cut it off the limb.
Yeah, pretty much. Have you ever been to Bala Lake?
I have. It's beautiful. And I would, everyone should go to Wales a lot more, because it is one of the most beautiful places in the world and most fun places in the world as well. So everyone should go there instead of going, my girlfriend's going traveling next year, but she hasn't been in that many places in Wales. So I'm trying to convince her not to go to Australia, but to go to the Gower instead. But I don't know how much she's on.
I suppose related in the back of that question is, what's your favourite Welsh word?
I like weird Welsh words. Tundis is really good. That means funnel. I just really like it. TWNDIS, I think. Tundis. That's really, really good. But Pili Pala is a really good one. That's butterfly. But I really like rubbish translations as well, because Welsh is such an old language. Any sort of new words, they have to come up with a translation for them. And so it's just really funny to see when people really have just phoned in that translation. Like, the translation for balloon is balloon. The translation for ambulance is ambulance. And my favourite one is the translation for warehouse, which is weros. But it's W-E with a tor, which is a Welsh thing. R-W-S, weros. And I think that's hilarious.
It sounds like such a made-up language, I've got to be honest. Sometimes I think people are pulling me leg with it.
All languages are made up.
Well, I know that, but I mean, what was butterfly? Pili Pala?
Pili Pala.
Pili Pala. How can anyone take that seriously? Yeah. Anyway, what's the worst game you've had to review?
I don't really like doing reviews. That was a thing that when I first started. I don't really like doing reviews, so I don't do them. But I mean, I've had to work with different games, and working on Official Nintendo Magazine for so many years. I wish we were still working on it now. We've got amazing games coming out for it, like the year of Splatoon and Smash Brothers and stuff like that. But I think one of the worst games that I've ever had to do something with is probably, there was a Doctor Who game on the Wii that was borderline unplayable. I can't remember what it was called, but it's
something about a clock. I remember playing it as well.
Yeah, it was terrible. Before Future Publishing shut down all their websites and stuff, there was John Log Blythe wrote an amazing review of it, which is basically just an apology to children. It's really, really good. But yeah, maybe that, or I'm trying to think. What was? Oh, I think one of the worst games that I've ever had to get excited about was the Mario 25th anniversary collection, where they released All Stars basically again, in that really nice red box.
Oh yeah.
Because we had to get really hyped for that, and it was just bollocks. They didn't do anything new with it. They didn't do anything cool with it. I just really, really didn't like it. But yeah, because I don't have to review things, I'm in a really good position where I haven't got to sort of do anything like that, which is good.
Ah, well, When did you get your first tattoo?
On the day that I turned 18, me and a friend of mine who I grew up with, she paid for mine and I paid for hers, and we went to a place in Blackwood, which I believe is not in South Wales, which I believe is not even open anymore. And we both got our first tattoos. Hers was these blue and yellow stars on the back of her, on the bottom of her back, which I'm sure she definitely doesn't regret now that she's a mother. And mine was like a variation on the Metallica Ninja Star, which is on my left arm, and I definitely don't regret that either. So, but that is sort of hidden. So I guess unless you see me with my top off, you don't actually get to see that. So I'm all right with that, to be honest.
Fair enough. I don't understand this next question. IGAA or BOSC? What's that mean? Anyone?
Oh yes, they're talking about bounty hunters in Star Wars, and it's BOSC all the way.
Yeah, fair enough.
Amazing.
Also, Sophia writes in to say, or she's messaged me on Facebook as I'm talking to you, to ask, will you read her blog on outoflives.net?
Yes, of course.
I'll link you, okay.
If you tweet me a link to it, and I'll definitely read it. Like, people send stuff all the time, and we do, like, generally, like, read things. I don't know if people know that, but, like, yeah, we'll read out, like, even if people send emails that we don't read out on the podcast and things like that, we do generally read out quite a lot of stuff to each other and sort of have conversations about it and things like that as well. So, yeah, if you send us something, chances are we are definitely going to read it. And if you send us, like, some cake, we'll definitely eat that. So.
What's your favourite comic superhero?
My favourite comic book superhero?
Yeah.
I was always been Daredevil, like, since I was a kid. Like, I preferred Daredevil to Batman all the time growing up. I really love it. I don't know, I just really loved all the, like, courtroom stuff. I don't know, he's just, like, he's a really cool character. Like, I really like how, like, you can go issues sometimes without him even putting on a mask. Like, it's just him doing good in Hell's Kitchen as Matt Murdock, and I think that's amazing. I think that's what, like, the series really lacked. And I never really got on with, because a lot of the time it was just sort of dark, and he's wearing, like, not even the Daredevil suit. A lot of the time he's wearing sort of, like, you know, the old Daredevil suit, or like a really sort of, like, thing. But you never got to see him kicking ass as Matt Murdock that much. And I kind of wanted, this is the problem I've got with all the Marvel stuff, that I like, a lot of the TV shows is like, it's like one really long film, like that and Jessica Jones are like one huge long film rather than being like super episodic. Daredevil not so much, because you had like the cool Kingpin episode and things like that. But I kind of wanted Daredevil and Jessica Jones I wanted them to be like solving different things every episode, every week, and then there was like an overarching like storyline, but it wasn't. It was just one large storyline. I think that's kind of where it fell apart a little bit for me, and that's why I just really kind of lost interest with them. But I think hopefully next series, like Daredevil and the Punisher in one series, is going to be amazing, I think.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Right, next one from Reese Stanfield. What law would you bring in to reverse the deteriorating cinema watching environment? And he goes on to say that you're our Welsh Mandela on this issue.
I thought about this the other day, actually, and I think they should, because we had our Christmas party last Thursday, and there was a quiz, and the girl who organised our last two parties, where there's been a quiz, has picked a place where it's like a basement bar and there's no signal. And I kind of think, like, if you went into, like, no cinemas really are in basements, so that's kind of hard. But there must be a way that, you know, like sometimes when you just go into a house, like at my mother's house, definitely in South Wales, there's just no signal at all.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be a thing that you can buy that just but that's the thing, like, it just turns off phones.
There is a signal jam you can get, but it's completely illegal.
Oh, right, okay, that's cool. I don't know, like, a lot of the time at like big screenings, like press screenings, you have to give in your phone, you have to check in your phone and get it back. And I really think that you should have to do that.
You'd love my cinema. My cinema's in the basement. You can't get a signal in there for love nor money.
See, but I generally think, even without the signal, I'm just thinking about this in my head now, I don't even think I trust people to not get their phones out there. But it's not even that. It's just like talking and stuff like that. Like, I have a proper like zero tolerance policy on anything, and I just think people would find more ways to be dicks. Like, they'd probably be like, like just people always find ways to be dicks, and I think, like, even if they're not using their phones to go on Facebook and stuff, they probably start taking photos and flashing and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. Like, we've got tickets to see Star Wars next Thursday morning at 9:30 in the morning. I'm thinking, because it's 9:30 in the morning, because it's the first day it's out, and because it's a school day and a work day, hopefully we should be all right. But a part of me is a little tiny bit worried about it. But yeah, like I actually had like 2 like horrible like anxiety dreams last week about it, thinking it was just 2 really horrible. Like I woke up like in a sweat and then went back to sleep and had another one about going to different Star Wars screenings and people playing up about it. Like that's how much it plays on my mind, and that's wrong. We shouldn't have to live like this.
I'm going to the midnight release nearby.
Okay.
But I'm just working on the fact that I'm hoping that everyone's so hyped and excited that they go in at midnight that they're going to be quiet. But then I thought about it a bit more, and there's going to be lots of clapping and cheering. I can see it already.
I think it's like clapping and cheering I'm kind of all right with. Like, because like right
During
now...
the credits?
Yeah, like right now, like me and my girlfriend have just started watching Return of the Jedi while I was making her tea. And when when the opening crawl came on, she was just like, I don't know what I'm going to be like when I have to see it. And I was like, yeah, no, do I. Like, I almost screamed then. And this is Jedi, which I watched like a million times. So, yeah, I don't know what it's going to be. But like clapping, like credits, I think. I just think as long as you're not shouting, I think any time that you're doing something that's affecting somebody else, you've got to stop doing that thing. That's a rule, not just the cinema. This is forever.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fair to me.
Yeah.
At what point will you have officially become more beard than man?
It gets close sometimes, man. Like when last week, I think it was the longest I'd gone without trimming my beard or having a haircut, which was like 2.5 months. And like I looked like Michael J. Fox's dad in Teen Wolf, like just basically a mass of hair. So yeah, it happens now and again. But luckily, like my beard stops at my neck, and I'm not really hairy. You wouldn't guess it looking at my face, but I'm not really hairy the rest of my body. So like, hopefully, someone would say, "Come on, mate, there's cornflakes in your beard. You need to have a shave."
Adam Wilding asks, will you be his friend?
Of course. I'm actually quite friendly, despite that, I sound not.
I never got the impression of you at any point that you were not friendly. Just
I've
opinionated.
I've met you a couple of times, though, maybe.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, I suppose that's it. Well, that's it. You have to meet Gav. Come on, an IGN live event. You'll see what a good human being he actually is.
Yeah.
I was too busy having a baby. Bloody kids.
You have got babies? Have you all got lots of babies? Because Ross just said you've got babies.
Yeah, I've got a 5-year-old, yeah.
Oh.
I've got a 3-month-old.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Is it? No, I'm joking, it is.
Yeah, that's a good excuse not to come, in fairness. But yeah, I met loads of people at like Podcast 300, the IGN live event, and they loads of them had babies. Like one of them was talking to Tilly about his baby. Like there's so many people have babies. Yeah.
I'm going to bring mine the next live event.
You should, man. First baby.
Yeah, IGN shirt on, or onesie, depending on when it is. Joseph McCormick asks, how many litres of pish can you hood in your foreskin? And that's exactly how he wrote it.
It's how many litres of pish can you hold in your foreskin?
I love it when Scottish people like write in Scottish. Like you can't really get away with it in any other language, I don't think. Like maybe like German, but yeah, I think there's something about Scottish people writing in Scottish that really makes me laugh. But there's something about Scottish people anyway that makes me laugh. Like that's why I really like the Bitsocket guys and stuff. Like there's just something like they can do anything and I laugh. Like and the same with like Jim Trinker. Like he just makes me laugh. Like just his voice and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. That's funny. I don't know how many litres of piss I can hold. Quite a lot, I reckon. I've been around. I've had to hold in some piss in my time. So I'm gonna say 4 litres.
There you go. You got all the breaking news here at Out of Lives.
Yeah.
What's your best Matthew Castle anecdote?
Man, so many. Like I properly miss working with that guy because it's one of those things where like when you do like an hour solid of work and then you think, oh, I just want like if you smoke, I guess you go up and have a cigarette, or if you like drink tea, you go make a cup of tea. Like I would literally do an hour of work, then turn around and just say something to Matthew, and then just watch him go mad for like 20 minutes, and then turn back and carry on my work. he's just like, I don't know, he cares so much about what he does. Like, and he cares so much about things that if you can just sort of wind him up about things. I think, like, my favorite one was when he properly done me. And that was like, because he was Endgamer and I was Official Nintendo Magazine. And it was kind of like, a rivalry between those. It was like the last good rivalry between like readers of magazines. Like people who are super young now, probably like 80% of this podcast don't know what I'm talking about. But there used to be a thing where like you either read one magazine or the other. Like I never really got it with official Xbox or official PlayStation magazines, so I never read those because I didn't think they were that good. But like PC Zone or PC Format, man. Like I was PC Zone, and I just for some reason just hated PC Format. And it's the same with official Nintendo magazine. Like we used to have people who like properly hated Endgamer, and people on Endgamer who properly hated official Nintendo magazine. So when he first moved up, or when I first heard he was moving up, I would just send him horrible emails, saying like "go back where you came from" and stuff like that. And he moved up from Bath to London. And I wrote on a Post-it note in like mad sort of handwriting, basically looked like Kevin Spacey from Seven's writing, "go back where you came from." I put it on his monitor, and then that morning I was out as a shoot. So when I came back, he'd obviously seen it, and then he sent an email to all of us saying, "Hi guys, I came in this morning and saw a 'go back where you came from' if I go back where you came from, Post-it note on my screen. This was obviously the work of Will, and Will was like the deputy art editor at the time. So I'm going to be talking to HR about it. I've already had a meeting with him, and I was like, holy shit, like Will's going to get in trouble. So, and he walked out of the room, and I turned around to like this production editor. I was like, Jim, it was me, man. Holy shit, like I don't want Will to get in trouble. So when Matthew walked back in, I was like, dude, I'm so sorry, like. It was me. It wasn't Will at all. And then everyone started laughing. I was like, "Oh, you bastard!"
He's owned up.
Yeah. But like he properly done me. But I think I don't know. Like my favorite thing that I ever did to him was, if in the future offices you could, if you emailed straight from the photocopy machine, it would send you didn't have to put who it was from, so it would send an anonymous email. So yeah. I would send him stuff like. Nobody likes you, and it was just like you just get an email with just like a huge JPEG that said nobody likes you, and it was like everyone thinks your mother dresses you funny. Send him that, and he was like, and I would do it. I would sort of do it from different parts of the office. So he was like, how is it being sent from upstairs? Then I would ask people upstairs to send it for me, and they was like, but you're by your desk. How you do it? And then there was like a day when I was off, and I like planned all these different things, and I got Joe Screbbles, who we worked with, to send them to him as well. So he was getting all these like anonymous things saying nobody likes you and all those different things. He's like, it must be Gav, but he's not here. How is he doing that?
The ghost of Gav.
Yeah, he's just a really funny guy, and it's just really fun to work with. And he's doing really good work on Official Xbox Magazine now. So if anybody likes him, it's basically Official Xbox Magazine is basically everyone who used to work on Endgame and Official Nintendo Magazine, but writing about Xbox games. So it's really good.
What's a magazine?
Exactly. It is pretty expensive, actually, but all the good stuff goes online anyway, so I just wait, I guess. Although if you do that, then at some point it won't be a magazine, so...
It's like newspapers as well, wasn't it? Does anyone here still buy a newspaper?
I haven't for a while. I'm joking. I still read a couple of different magazines.
Yeah.
I was just being funny. Well, to ruin it. Do you prefer the IGN UK podcast or regular features?
So regular features is a podcast I do with 3 friends. It's really different because when we started regular features, it was like we didn't really want to talk about video games because we were all video games journalists. But we did get nominated for a Games Media Award this year because we basically asked everyone to nominate us so we could go to the party. So yeah, we are an award-nominated games podcast, but we're not really about video games. So it's different. And I've known those guys for years as well. And like the thing I like about IGN UK podcast is there's different dynamics and things. Like if you listen to it one week and it's like me, Krupa, and Rory, it'll be a different thing to if you listen to like Alex, Krupa, and Tilly. And I kind of like that. But then, I listen to it when, as a fan. And that's the kind of thing I used to like because, some episodes are good and people bring out the best in other people, I think. Like, Some of the best ones we've done this year, I think, that I've personally done, not that I've listened to, have been like me, Tilly and Krupa, or like me, Rory and Krupa. I think is always quite good. But yeah, it's just really fun to have like different people all the time, and that changes how you sort of talk and things like that as well, which is good.
Yeah. Tilly sort of goes into grandfather mode when he's got the younger ones on.
Well, he just knows quite a lot because he's been around for a long time. But he's not actually that old. Like,
No.
I think he's like 34, and I'm 30, so that's not that much.
He's
old.
like ages with me.
No, that's not old. But yeah, they're very different podcasts. It's strange doing like a live, because like, with regular features, we do quite a lot of live podcasts. We do like a monthly live one at the Canal Cafe Theatre, if you ever want to come, in London, first Monday of the month. And then doing IGN 300, like that was really, really strange, because we drink quite a lot on regular features, and there was this really cool moment where Alex was like, I think I'd had like 2.5 pints, and Alex was like, how much have you had to drink? And I was like, oh, I've had 2.5 pints. He was like, right, you shouldn't drink anymore. And I was like, mate, I've done a live podcast after like 9 pints before. It's probably, if you listen to it back, it's probably not that good, but like, I was like, you don't have to worry about me, it's fine. But I think he was more worried about other people on the team getting a bit too pissed and not being able to do it, to be honest, so it's fine. But yeah, they're super different, and both good in their own ways, which is a really good diplomatic answer, I feel.
Didn't have to answer the question, though.
Yeah.
You do have to pick one.
I couldn't pick. I wouldn't ask you guys to pick between your children. Like,
I only have one. So
I've only got one, I pick Eben. He's the only one I've got.
I pick Eben
too. We've got to do some of the regular questions. And just to say, an IGN UK podcast is missing a Scottish voice, that's all I'm saying.
It is. Yeah. I guest on another podcast now and again called Daft Souls, which is a good podcast, and now and again I've done those with Jim Trinker, and yeah, having Welsh and a Scottish, and then he's actually Welsh, so now and again you'll hear him dump back, like if he's with me, he'll dump back down into Welsh, which is really, really good. Although probably confusing as fuck if you're listening to it at home, to be honest. So.
We had him on. He was on a few weeks ago.
Ah, awesome.
And he was very, very sort of Scottish when he was talking to me anyway. And then he sort of back into his normal voice when he was talking about everyone else. But it's interesting. But right, so tomato sauce, fridge or cupboard?
Somebody asked this at the 300. Mine, I think, is in. I'm not very far from my fridge. I'm just going to check if it is in my fridge. Yeah, it's in the fridge.
It's in the fridge?
Yes, fridge.
Well,
I'm saying fridge.
Terrible.
Okay.
Terrible.
Why
Terrible
horrible.
human being.
What's the difference? Why would you want it anywhere else?
It says on it, keep it room temperature, doesn't it?
No, it says
That's
keep it in the fridge, but
Does it?
doesn't matter. It's disgusting out the fridge. It's cold.
You guys need to get your story straight.
I'm not, Dave's meant to be the man with all the correct facts, but he's let me down again.
Do you know what? Just for you guys, I will take it out, and then when's the next time I'm going to have sauce? Probably next Saturday morning. So next time I have some sauce, I'll have that on there.
Gav, for all I care, put it in the bin. I hate this stuff.
I found
really?
mine. I found mine in the fridge the other day. I went nuts. I was going to leave her. Like, she's on. That's it. She's on her last warning. If I find it in the fridge again, I'm gone.
And lastly, the classic put question: what is the biggest animal you can knock out with one punch? Hypothetically.
Biggest animal you can knock out with one punch.
Well, you personally.
Do you want some perspective?
Yeah, go on.
Right. Jim Trinker is a urban fox.
Okay.
What was Simon Miller, Dave?
I don't think.
I'm not comparing myself to Simon Miller, in fairness. I don't think that's never going to happen.
I don't think you want to say that hypothetical question.
No, I think he said no. I don't really want to punch animals. Yeah. Did he not start going on about punching a tiger or something? Rory said an elephant, of course, at 300.
Yeah.
And
that's one of the funniest things I think Rory's ever said. Or that's one of the most that he's ever made me laugh. He said, "Is it chained down?"
Right in the trunk. And Lucy, who does all of our indie stuff, she said a giraffe if she had a stepladder.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, I said a kangaroo and everyone called me ridiculous. And then, we've got giraffes and elephants and that's fine.
I'm trying to think like what animals I don't like. but I really like animals. Like, I really love dogs and cats. I'm trying to think if there's any animals that I think I keep having like horrible dreams about what are those Australian bears? Koala bears.
Koala bears?
Yeah, like them being real. Like, but they're being like
No, real.
No, but like real people. So it's like a man's body, but the face of a koala bear. And I keep having dreams about that. So yeah, maybe a koala bear. I'd like to beat up a koala bear, so I'll stop. Dreams, I guess. Yeah.
Right, and I think that's us. Is there anything else you want to plug or promote?
Nah, I'm fine, man. That's good. Thank you for having me on.
No, well, thank you so much for answering all the Duckhunters questions. Of course, you can catch Gav most weeks on the IGN UK podcast, or go and catch him live with regular features, or get that in iTunes or SoundCloud, or visit their website or Patreon. You get everything for the regular features, actually.
Yeah, all that.
Thank you so much for joining us, and Dave, thanks for tagging along.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Dave's the star of this, really. Let's face it.
You're in tune to Out of Lives. www.outoflives.net.
Can't handle the truth!